Hello everyone, this is Toby with Birdsong Studios. How are we doing today? I hope you all are well. Thank you so much for joining me here on the channel. I appreciate your time, your attention, and your openness to these messages. In today's reading, we're looking at integrity, but integrity in relation to your story, the story that you tell about yourself, especially internally, but then that, of course, becomes the story that you express externally in your energy, and the story that then is part of your place of manifestation. And how is that, or is that story, the sirens start, is that story truly in alignment with who you have grown to be, who you have transformed into, and is it in alignment with the story that you want to live going forward? So I have out here the Life Soul Vision Oracle by Romy Wyser. I have the Spirit Song Tarot, and then I have the Spirit Animal Oracle. As I was meditating just prior to recording, birds in particular, they're always very active in spirit and in the physical world in sending message to me, hence Birdsong Studios. But this morning I had the owls were speaking, and then the crows were speaking very loudly just outside my window. So it felt like there were messages that wanted to come through from our spirit animals around this topic. So we're going to start with, I think we're going to use Life Soul Vision to wrap the message all together, as it always beautifully does so. So we're going to start with the Spirit Animal Oracle. Is that right? Yes, Spirit Animal Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. And as we talked about in the last reading, we have tons of Taurian energy in the cosmos and all around us this week. Today, Jupiter moves into the sign of Taurus, and there is a great deal of expansion that goes with Jupiter. So what is it that we are wanting to expand, and especially in relation to Taurian themes, our finances, our abundance, our sense of security and comfort and stability, as well as a, of course, Taurus is symbolized by the bull, so that sense of diligence and persistence, but also can be a sense of stubbornness. So with Jupiter moving into Taurus, are we expanding our ability to move with ease, and are we expanding our ability or our tendency to be stubborn and inflexible, or are we utilizing our foundation and our home base, I'm hearing, and the energies that are supportive and soothing and comforting around us to allow us to surrender into a state of flow because we feel held, because we feel safe and secure. So now Jupiter is going to be in Taurus until, I'm not sure, sometime next year. I'm thinking May, but that may not be correct. But it's going to be quite some time. So we have a while to work on this. This is going to be an ongoing theme for us. However, let's let's not get too sidetracked here. So as we are thinking about expanding and the expansion of this newness that's unfolded through the transformations we've undergone, the growth we've experienced, especially this big boost of transformative energy from the past Scorpio eclipse. We have this new moon in Taurus on Friday, so it's very important to get clear on our energy, and part of that is the story that we tell about ourselves. And is that in integrity, in alignment with who we want to be going forward, with what we want to manifest? So if we're manifesting from a place of telling the story of I can't do something and I'm not able to do this, or I've never been able to do this, that's that point of manifestation then. And then it can be even more subtle if we are, well, let's see what the cards say. Brown bear spirit. Yes, take time out. This is what we were just talking about. This is, I feel very much the need to, oh, sorry, that was loud. That was my elbow. I got a chill. I very much feel the need to, although we're just past Mercury going direct, we're still in Mercury's shadow for the retrograde, and Mercury is also in Taurus, and so this feels very much like an offer of a bit of respite, I'm hearing, as much as rest, but it's almost this quiet as far as communication is what I'm sensing. It feels very of course the brown bear hibernates, but the brown bear can also move rather quietly through the forest. As large as they are, they can be rather stealthy, and so not necessarily from a point of, well, for the bear certainly it can be a bit of sneaking up upon its prey, but for us here in the collective, it feels just a need to move quietly and a bit of a respite from communication potentially of how around those moves that you're making. Let's see what else we have here. And it's this, I'm almost getting this sense of needing a break from expression, just to get really clear, to allow yourself to get really clear on where your energy is being directed and how it's being directed and what frequency that energy is coming forth. Being really conscientious with that expression is going to be really important. Again, we go back to that point of manifestation. And what is your energy saying about the story you hold for yourself? Yeah, embracing the in-between, exactly, because we are at this in-between point of, we've gone through this transformative period, and there's almost this point of taking time out to integrate everything together before we, and this is the in-between period, before we really step into and embody even but there's this strong sense of expression with this. So whether that's in communication of any type, or expression creatively, or expression of love within relationships, but I get a real sense of projects and communication with this for you guys right now. And so they're just embracing this in-between period, because sometimes too, and I was just speaking with someone about this the other day, that sometimes when we've gone through, or oftentimes when we've gone through these really momentous upgrades, transformations, and shifts within our energy, within our awareness, whether we've gotten downloads or activations from spirit, from our cosmic team, from source, from the angels, these healing processes that can come in these massive waves, and that is what we've experienced with the Scorpio eclipse. Our bodies need time. Our mind needs time to adjust, but our physical bodies need time to integrate that new energy, to have time to, I'm hearing, be soothed and cooled after a big emotional release, as a lot of us experienced with the Scorpio eclipse. And so this is that time. And so it's important to embrace the in-between, because although it may feel like, and it may seem like it's a moment of inactivity, or a moment of no expression, or a moment of feeling stuck even, that's a bit of a triggered response. Can we view this differently and understand that this is a time when all of these new energies and activations and frequencies are being integrated and accepted and ingrained into our physical body, into our energetic body, but even on the cellular level. And so can we see this time of rest, this bit of respite, as space for our bodies to catch up with and I'm hearing assimilate, but integrate all of these activations that we've received, all this new information, all of this light and this healing, so that then we can move forward from this integrated and in full embodiment of all that we've received, rather than it being fractured, and then it becomes difficult for us to utilize it, and or if not impossible, from an integrated state. And so how this goes back to integrity is funny, that word integrated and integrity, and I should have probably looked that up, what the Latin root is of integrity and integration, but you can obviously hear it right there in the word there. It's the same root. So all right, I'm going to look this up. I might pause you so that you don't have to sit and wait for this, but this feels really important as so the Latin root of the word, of both words, integrate and integrity, is integrare, which means to make whole. So that's exactly what we're talking about here. We need this quiet time, this respite, this rest time, this in-between time to make this whole. And part of that, as our bodies are going through this process of making it whole on a cellular level, it is important for us in our mental space then to be aware of what is the story we're telling. Is the story we're telling in alignment with this, and in integrity with this new integrated version of us, or is it an old story? And even it can be, we can get caught in these healing patterns. Is it a story of focusing on an area of wounding from your past? And although it's coming from a point of wanting to heal that, but if you've done that work already, you're still focused on that wounded part, then it still keeps you attached to that wounded part. And this is not to suggest that anyone should bypass any healing or should bypass any sort of expression of emotion or release that is part of that process. But I feel like for the collective I'm talking to, that you've done a ton of healing work. You've done it. But so, not but, and so if your focus is continually drawn to something in the past, you're reconnecting to that wounded part, not connecting to the healed part of you. So the story that you're telling about yourself, the story that you are continuing to write with every day, is it the story of the new, transformed, healed you? Is it the story of what you healed from? That feels really important. So I'm going to repeat that before I lose it. In the story that you're telling yourself every day about yourself, is it the story of the new, healed, transformed you? Or is it the story of, and see, it's gone already, the story of what wounded you, and thereby keeping you linked to that wound? Okay, I hope that makes sense. It's really important for us as we move forward again, and I cannot express this enough, and you guys may get sick of hearing me talk about New Earth, but every time we as individuals in the collective do this healing work, we assist in healing the collective. We put that energy out into the collective, and this is actually how it happens. This is the work. This is the way. That's from one of the Life Soul Vision Oracle decks or Oracle deck cards. It would be interesting to see if that comes out. But this is exactly it. You know, the saying, if you want to change the world, then begin by changing yourself, because that's how it happens. Because it's in those changes that then your energy shifts, your story shifts, and it begins to shift everything around you. It is the butterfly effect. Oh, look, and then we have a moth there. Okay, so going to the Spirit Song Tarot, let's see what else we need to know about our story and being in a place of integrity, of integration. What else do we need to know for the collective, please, Spirit? Thank you. We have the Five of Acorns. Which is, the acorns in this deck are the wands in the tarot. So, challenge and growth. Yeah, you've been through that. So I really feel like this is that reminder to not reattach yourself to the wound that you have healed from. Six of Feathers, transition and insight, but yet to move forward. This is the Six of Swords. This is moving to the calmer waters. This is being led by Spirit to away from the energies of trauma and conflict and wounding and yeah, in this constant, I shouldn't say constant, but in this state or energy of confusion I'm hearing that's caused by the conflict. But there's this clearness of mind and thought that comes along with the dragonfly in the Six of Feathers. And it's allowing oneself to be led by Spirit that is critical in this portion of the process, I mean, throughout the process, but it is critical here. This is allowing Spirit to lead you out of that. And that gives you such great insight and clarity. And then we have Awakening, card 20, renewal and enlightenment. Yeah, again, this is where we're headed. It's exactly where we're headed. I feel like we are at this point, but we're at that a bit of an in-between point. And the intentions and the energy that we embrace and set around the new moon are going to be critical. We're at such a profound point of manifestation here. And look at the beautiful peacock in the Awakening. reaching that point of when the clarity that comes when you allow yourself, you've done, again, the collective I'm speaking to that I'm reading for here has done so much work already. So you have a huge amount of awareness and acceptance and understanding. There's a depth of healing that's been done already. You're deep or already have been through this awakening process, but now we're at this point of a new level of awakening. And so again, going back to our stories, is which are we choosing to tell about ourselves right now? Are we choosing to tell, are we choosing to focus on the wounding that brought us here, or are we choosing to focus on what came from that? And again, I have to say this so clearly that this is in no way suggesting that anyone bypass or not speak about their life story and what they've been through. But as you're moving forward, it's so subtle. It's the difference in how you speak about it. Are you speaking about it from a place of the wound, or are you speaking about it from a place of gratitude for what you've gained from that, what you've learned from that through this process of awakening, of renewal and enlightenment and transformation? Okay, so what I'm going to ask, because again, we've talked so much, this is all based on the internal world, but now I'm asking what external factors may be around us at this time. Yes, energy and results, 8 of acorns. So this is this would be the 8 of wands in traditional tarot. So yes, there's a great deal of energy, and you there also may be a great deal of information coming through. I get this sense that this transition from Jupiter in Aries to Jupiter in Taurus might be a little bit difficult, because we've had this on an energetic level, because it's this push to accomplish, this push to do, this push to create, as far as to actually put something into the physical world, to put something into action. And now we're at this point of in between, where it's time to take a little bit of a break, to allow all of everything that we've put into place already to kind of catch up with us. So there may also be an in-between point where you're not seeing the results of that. But that does not mean that that energy does not exist and that it is not already flowing towards you. However, if you are not taking this time to integrate all that you have done, all that you have learned, allowing that time for it to, yes, and the breath is can be very, very important during this time too. A lot of deep breathing exercises help to move that energy through your cells, allowing it to integrate. Because if you're not in that, you've put all of this energy out there, you want to be in energetic alignment with receiving it at this time and around the new moon, and then subsequently as well, afterwards as well. Does that make sense? So you've put all of that, through a lot of action and inspiration and creativity and determination even, so much has been already put out into the world in your expression, in whatever form that takes. You may not see any results or any feedback, so to speak, from that, but it is coming. But you need to be in energetic alignment with what you're wanting to receive from it. Okay? to make sure that you're in alignment with the new you that is transformed, the new you and the new story that you're wanting to live as you go forward. I hope that makes sense. That feels like a very roundabout way to say that. Okay, what else do we have on the external that may be attempting to influence or wanting to influence at this time? The Ten of Acorns, the Ten of Wands. Yes, this sense of responsibility and dedication and a heaviness that comes with this. Again, if you were working on putting projects out into the world, or even new business ideas, or new new creative expressions, and you've kind of come to this point of in between, you've come to this time when things are slowing down, you know, the energy does slow down a bit when we move from Jupiter in Aries to Jupiter in Taurus, which again happens today on the 16th. And it's so that motion that you've been in, this active state, visibly active state from the external world, because it is in Aries. So I get this sense that there's almost this feeling of I have to keep this up, I have to keep this up, I have to keep going. But it probably will not feel in alignment with you right now, because you're actually being asked to take a bit of a break. Take a bit of a slowdown, allow for the in-between, allow for all that you've put in place to then come back to you with those results, with the rewards from it. But there can be this external energy that is it feels overwhelming. But if you're experiencing this sense of overwhelming responsibility, and if you're and almost this judgment that you're not dedicated to your expression, again, in whatever form that has taken, especially over the last couple of months, that's a judgment that is maybe being projected upon you, but I feel like it's coming from within as much as anything, and it's certainly a reflection of oftentimes how we're viewed from a cultural level, from the level of you have to always be doing, and this is not not a healthy state of being. We know that it goes in cycles, that we go in cycles, our energy levels go in cycles, and there are points in time when we do need this respite, when we do need to allow for everything that we have been working towards, expressing, communicating, to integrate that into our physical bodies, again, at that cellular level. And if we're in a constant state of movement, we are not always in a receptive mode. So we're not able to receive back what we've put out into the world, what we've put out into the universe, what we've put out energetically. So I feel like this comes from this sense of duty and responsibility, and overwhelming responsibility comes from this unhealthy belief system that requires us to keep going at all times, no matter what our body is telling us to do. no matter what our guides are saying, when they're inviting us to rest, inviting us to be still, inviting us to allow our bodies to take in all that has been offered. And the really important part about this is if we keep going, we're moving from a drained state, but in addition, we're going to block this integration that's wanting to happen at this time. And then that becomes our story. Going back around to the story, right? Is the story we're telling, is the story we are living in alignment with how we want to live going forward? Do we want to live in this state of constantly hustling, and in whatever area of life that is? Do we want to feel this sense of overwhelm? Or do we want to live in a state of clarity, enlightenment, of constant renewal, able to move through challenges from a point of growth rather than being stuck in the conflict? Okay. We are going to go to, wow, has it already been 30 minutes? That doesn't even seem possible. Okay, we're going to go to the Life Soul Vision Tarot or Oracle deck to wrap this up. I didn't realize I'd been talking quite that long. I'm a little long-winded, so I just want to make sure that all the messages that come out, I get out to you guys. This feels really important at this time. And there's a reminder that all the work you're doing for yourself is the work that you're doing for the collective too. Okay, so from the Life Soul Vision Oracle, what else do we have here? Holy Spirit, bring this all together around our stories and integrity. I'm seeing a dictionary page with the integrity and the Latin root integrare listed there. Something for you guys to keep in mind during this time. Soul star energy, conscious connection. Yeah, and this is this conscious connection to your higher self, I really believe, as well as, yeah, and we have waves crash and stars fall on the bottom, which is kind of a towery type energy. It's a bringing down of old structures, and which allows for the new to be reborn. And this soul star energy, yes, this conscious connection to, as I was saying, to your higher self, to your cosmic team, your cosmic family, to your connections with higher knowledge as well. And this is what is being integrated at this time. And it's through these connections that you have been nurturing and nourishing, growing and tending to, that you've received these downloads, these activations, and this ancestral wisdom even, that I feel really present with that brown bear spirit. So recognizing that there is we're not locked into these stories that we've told ourselves, and there's also a great sense of generational ancestral clearing here. We talked about how the healing that we do for ourselves and the integration that we allow for ourselves as individuals helps to facilitate the same for the collective. But we're also talking, we also need to mention that it does the same across past generations and through your ancestors, through your lineage. These things that have been passed down through our cells energetically over many centuries, even way longer, that we've carried with us from other places even. And this is what we're working to clear. And then to integrate that healing on such a deep level so that we can start out carrying all the wisdom that's been available to us. Certainly it's an ongoing process, but we're starting this cycle from this place of transformation. And so what are the stories that you want to be telling yourself and others about you? As you go into this new cycle. Yeah, I get again, breathing, there's this sense of, if you get to this point of constriction, to exhale deeply, to connect into your higher self. And there is a galactic presence here as well. To connect into your cosmic guides and help and ask for their assistance in this integration process, for their assistance in releasing those blocks that hold your breath in a restricted place, that have held your voice in a restricted place. But this is that in-between time that we need so much in order to allow this integration. And it's a time to reflect upon our stories and what are we saying about ourselves to ourselves. And in this path moving forward, are we reconnecting or reattaching to those old stories, or are we moving on these new paths that are open to the new story? Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for staying with me. Again, I didn't intend for this to be so long, so thank you for your patience and your attention and your openness to these messages. I greatly appreciate all of you, and I will be back soon. Please be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel so you're notified when I upload next. And if you would like a personal reading, my information is in the description box below. Thank you so much, and I will be back soon.